What up, my beautiful patriots? Time for another episode of YouTube Approved News. I feel like this segment needs a theme song. Give me that exposure on YouTube. Give me that sweet communist news. I feel like that's pretty good, right? That felt good. Yeah, I kind of like that. And you know what? Maybe we could throw in another verse too. Something like, because we only have 3 topics we can talk about, otherwise they censor us. We're workshopping it. All right, just go with it. It'll get better. It's in the hopper. Oh, jeez. I don't know about me sometimes. All right, let's move into the news, shall we? Also, my pillows right now are over 70% off for a limited time. Just use this promo code at checkout. As a kid, I used to grab bear claws 2 at a time. And I'd get them lodged right in this region here. Movie reference, anybody? Your brain has this shell on it. All right, let's go. Illegals are coming to a community near you. You know how they say nothing good happens after midnight?
Well, you could call it the Mexican Shuttle.
That sounds like a new dance move. The Mexican Shuttle. I wonder what that would look like. Slide to the left, further to the left. Keep voting to the left.
The Biden administration flying young migrants from the southern border in the dead of night. The New York Post, as you said, revealing those nighttime charter flights that fly from Texas, filled with teenagers and children who are then bused to nonprofits that provide housing for young people or are sent to relatives and sponsors.
Sponsors, you say? I wonder who's sponsoring them.
Records showed that some of the planes arrived there at 2 and 4 in the morning, and other flights have been spotted in Jacksonville, Florida.
And with them going down to Florida, in a statement, a spokeswoman for Governor Ron DeSantis blasted the Biden administration's flying border crossers in the state in the middle of the night, stating that the governor has expressed outrage over the Post's findings, saying, quote, if the Biden administration is so confident that their open border policy is good for our country, why the secrecy? Why is the Biden administration refusing to share even the most basic of information about illegal alien resettlement in communities throughout our state and our entire country? And when asked about this at the White House press conference, this was Jen Psaki's response.
The administration flying thousands of migrants from the border to Florida and New York in the middle of the night.
Well, I'm not sure that it's in the middle of the night, but let me tell you what's happening here. It is our
4:29 a.m.
Well,
very early in the morning.
Here we are talking about early flights, earlier than you might like to take a flight.
I'm soaked from the arrogance just dripping from those snide remarks. You know, you, Peter Ducey, who asked the question, may not like to take a flight that early. We're talking about early morning flights here. Semantics. But they're not just going to New York and Florida. This isn't the first time it's happened either.
The plane has also flown the past month to Abilene, Kansas, Youngstown, Ohio, Springfield, Missouri, Lexington, Kentucky.
Now, we've seen this before. Remember, we reported on it a couple months ago when it was happening in Tennessee, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is more in the mountains on the eastern Tennessee-Virginia border almost. And local officials were not made aware in that instance. They weren't given a heads up that this was going to happen there. It just started getting reported by a local news outlet, and even Senator Marsha Blackburn said that she and none of her Tennessee delegation colleagues in Congress had any idea, and it caused a lot of backlash. But we've seen them do this to different areas all over the country, doing it very quietly in the middle of the night.
Tennessee, potentially Kentucky, Ohio, Florida, Kansas. I wonder what all those states have in common. Washington Post wants you to... Oh, I just buried the lead. Sorry about that, guys. Trump's starting a new social media platform. From just the news, Trump announced his formation of own media company, social platform to counter censorship. Yes! Former President Donald Trump announced Wednesday night... Oh, just let me make one quick adjustment. President Donald Trump announced Wednesday night that... Yeah, that's better. The formation of a new media and entertainment company that will soon launch a social platform named Truth Social. I like that name. Seeking to shake up a media landscape often hostile to him and his supporters. President Trump said in a statement, quote, I created Truth Social and Trump Media and Technology Group to stand up to the tyranny of big tech. We live in a world where the Taliban has a huge presence on Twitter, yet your favorite American president has been silent. Classic Trump. Its mission is to create a rival media consortium and fight back against the big tech companies of Silicon Valley, which have used their unilateral power to silence opposing voices in America. And you can sign up early to register for this app that's reportedly coming out in February at truthsocial.com. I'll put the link in my description. Freedom of speech for all people. Who knew? That site's gonna be banging. All right, back now to the Washington Post, where they do not allow full expression of differing ideas and opinions, but they do tell the American public to suck it up. From Breitbart.com, Washington Post says Americans should try to lower expectations and accept Biden's supply chain crisis. In what seems like an attempt to distance President Joe Biden from the supply chain crisis ravaging the country and the globe, the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos, published an op-ed on Monday telling American consumers to try to lower expectations moving forward. Rather than living constantly on the verge of throwing a fit, we do ourselves a favor by consciously lowering expectations. Guys, it doesn't matter that the supply chain issue is forced upon us by an administration that wants to crush the middle class. Just take your expectations of American exceptionalism and drop them down to where the administration is. You know, think Dark Winter. That's the American spirit. Senator Josh Hawley, he makes a good point about this too.
You know, I think that lower your expectations, Tucker, is really the slogan of the Biden presidency.
Yeah.
And you talk about bringing back the old days, you know, the 1970s. I mean, this is like reliving Jimmy Carter's worst years in office, where we're told that the American people are the problem. You know, you're the problem. National melees. Oh, it's all the American people's fault. In fact, it's Joe Biden's fault and his terrible policies. He's trying to run down this country because he doesn't believe in it. And, you know, the truth is that we're not a weak nation, Tucker. We're a strong nation. It's time we started acting like it.
I wonder what people in Biden's hometown of Pennsylvania think about that. They did, after all, get a chance to meet him the other day. Gosh, I love Pennsylvanians. Finally, I want to end this episode on a high note. This is video footage of Seattle police officers and firefighters walking up the steps of Seattle City Hall to turn in their boots after not accepting the mandates that were imposed upon them. Now, whereas I obviously think it's not a good thing they're being forced to take anything, the fact that they're showing calm solidarity in this moment should be motivation for every other American out there. This is the way forward. And not only is that an amazing example of leadership and unity, but the very next day, the people who were let go together were out feeding the homeless. That is the example we follow. Those are the Americans we should model. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your example. And on that note, I'm out of here, guys. Head over to my locals channel if you want to see some unfiltered news. And I'll see you guys here in the next one. Throw back to the hat outro.